So it's taken me a while, but finally I have an SSC819 on the channel for review. I have another version of this watch to show you guys as well. I'll do that in a later video. Of course, this is a solar powered chronograph that Seiko came out with just a little while ago. It's a really straightforward, good looking chronograph in 39 millimeters with a solar powered movement. People went wild when these first came out. Now the prices are starting to fall on the secondary market. Is this still a good option for someone who's looking for an affordable chronograph? Let's find out. Let's flip the camera and take a look at the Seiko SSC819. So when these Seiko SSCs came out a few years ago, about a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, they sort of took the Seiko world by storm. They came out with an affordable, good-looking chronograph, and they're solar. A lot of people really love solar watches. People who love automatic watches love solar watches as well, because you get the accuracy and the reliability of a quartz watch. However, you don't need to change a battery, and this will last about 10 years. And then you will need to change the battery, of course. So you will need to change the capacitor, and that's what that's called. But they do last about 10 years in these watches, which is pretty good. So this does have a Seiko solar caliber. It is the V192, and you can see that the subdials on this watch have a little bit of a purplish hue. I believe those are the actual solar panels. Usually with a solar watch, like an Eco Drive watch from Citizen, you have the entire dial made of a solar panel, essentially, and they make it look like a regular dial. However, they went a different route with this dial, and I'm not sure why, but I think it works really, really well. This is actually a watch that is currently for sale from Belmont Watches. Belmont Watches are a great source for watches online if you are looking for some interesting independent watches, Seiko's or mainstream brands like Rolex and Omega. They have tons of watches on their website, and they're constantly adding new ones. They lent this watch into the channel. They don't support me in any other way except for lending me watches so I can bring you watches that I find interesting. So this is a watch that I've been trying to get on my channel for quite some time, and I will put a link to their website down in the description below. So there's a little bit of a quirkiness to the chronograph on this watch. You do have 3 sub registers, and I really love the layout of a chronograph with the sub registers at the bottom of the dial. There's a lot of symmetry here. I really do like that. At the 6 o'clock position right now, you have a power reserve. So that is the power reserve for the solar movement. At the 3 o'clock, you have a 24-hour dial or sub dial, and then you have running seconds right there at the 9 o'clock. So not a lot of people will really care about that 24-hour sub dial. Won't be very useful. However, that power reserve, obviously very useful. And then when you kick in the chronograph, you can see it actually resets to the start position for the chronograph. So once you press that, it actually turns into a chronograph hand. It goes from a power reserve to a chronograph hand. Really cool, a little bit quirky, and I like that. Also, this has a black dial. The registers are slightly sunken in from the rest of the dial, and then you have fence post hands. Those are filled with lume. You have an arrow for the second hand. I believe there is a little bit of lume on that arrow, and then you have applied indices with a minute track. The applied indices also filled with lume. All of the lume on this watch is Lumibrite. The bezel itself, I believe, is a piece of metal that is DLC coated, and then you have a tachometer on there. Sapphire crystal, which is slightly raised off of the case, as you can see, gives it a really almost vintage modern look. So a vintage styled modern watch, obviously. And you have really short lugs on here. So this is around a 39 millimeter watch. So very quickly, let's do those measurements. So this is at the bezel itself around a 38.9 millimeter watch. The case is a little bit bigger at 39 millimeters, almost spot on. You have a very large crown on here, unsigned. However, there's a little bit of a circle engraved in the crown. I don't know, 6.7 millimeters. And then thickness here, 13.1 millimeters. That's including that sapphire crystal. And then the lug to lug on this watch. And you have mail-in links. However, they don't really reach much past the lug end, so 45.6. You have sort of flat lugs on here, so really short lug to lug, and 49.5 at the end of those male end links. This also looks really good on a strap, and you have an oyster style bracelet with pin and collar, so something to keep in mind if you do not like that. But you do have an oyster style bracelet, I would call it. It's a little bit rounded version of that. And then you have a milled buckle. Well, the clasp itself is probably pressed, however, the buckle itself is milled, and then you have only 2 positions of micro adjust. However, I really think that they should put a little bit more micro adjust, or at least offer half links for the bracelet. That's probably one of my major complaints. This is a brand new watch, and they have this for a very good price. We'll go over price in just a few minutes. The sides of the watch are polished. Flipping it over, you have a solid case back, of course, because this is a solar movement. Screwed in case back, non-screwed in crown, 100 meters of water resistance. The case back itself is brushed. The back of the lugs are polished. The top of the case is brushed. So on the top it is brushed, and then you have a glossy bezel. Today on wrist I have a high-end version of a Seiko chronograph on. This is a Creedor. This is a Creedor Pacific is what it's basically called. There's a couple of different names for it. However, this is an automatic chronograph powered by a 6S movement. It's essentially the highest end chronograph movement that Seiko used for a very long time. More high end than their 8R movements, which they currently use in Seiko. This is more of a Grand Seiko product. That's why it's a Creedor. However, Grand Seiko never made automatic chronographs until just recently. Very quickly, let's throw the Seiko Solar on my wrist. Well, there you go. 39 millimeters on my 7.5 inch wrist. This is around 13 and change millimeters thick. You don't get a lot of links on here. However, this would fit probably in the neighborhood of an 8.5 inch wrist. You can see this is unsized, but there isn't all that much room, but a really nice look on the wrist, really nice feel. Overall, these are very good looking chronographs at a pretty decent price. So let's talk about price on this watch. So normally this sells for $675 new. This is a new watch, and Belmont Watches currently have this watch up for sale for $448 on their website right now. Brand new in box and paper. So a very good price for this watch, and a very good looking chronograph at under $500. So I was expecting this. There isn't a ton of lume on these SSCs. However, where it is applied, it's very liberally applied because this is Lumibrite, and when they apply Lumibrite, they always apply it pretty liberally, and it is very bright. So the hands are very bright, and just the primary indices are lumed, and then you have a little bit of lume on that second hand. I would have loved to see more lume on the dial. However, they didn't go that route. So during this segment, I asked 3 questions about the watch, and I answer all 3. Number 1, is this watch ugly? No, I really don't think this watch is ugly. I think it's very symmetrical. And overall, I think this is a crowd pleaser. It's nothing that's going to blow the design gods out of the water. However, it's a really good looking, straightforward chronograph with a really nice design from Seiko. Is this cool? I don't know if this is cool. I think it looks cool. However, it's a solar chronograph. I don't know if a solar chronograph is cool. I think it might be. Tell me what you guys think. And last question, number 3, is it worth the price? Yes, I think it's definitely worth the price. At the price that Belmont Watches have it for currently at $448, that is a very good price. Anything over that price, under $500, this is a steal. Over $500, I definitely would think twice about buying this watch. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think down in the comments below. I think this is a very good looking watch. I think it's pretty cool, and I definitely think it's worth the discounted price of $448. However, overall, it's nothing that's too exciting. However, I think that's why it's very popular. Usually Seiko make a chronograph and there's always something wrong with it. This one is near perfect in design when it comes to being a straightforward chronograph that is very wearable. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of their solar chronographs from Seiko? I wish they would come out with an automatic version in this style, in this size, and I think that would blow the socks off a lot of people. I know I would definitely buy one. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what your opinions are. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I will catch you in the next video.